Hello friends. Now this is the third lecture on intentional fallacy. Intentional fallacy involves romantic inspiration. Intentional fallacy is a romantic one. Intentional fallacy, we said it's better to use in brackets intentional inference. That's up to you, leave. So to prove this, all the romantics, they have committed this fallacy. All the romantics, right from Longinus up to the young poet Houseman, and through Wordsworth, Shelley, and Coleridge, and so on, they have committed this intentional fallacy. So even Socrates has done it. That is what Wimsatt and his collaborator Beardsley are trying to tell us. Now he gives examples. First he says that of Longinus. Longinus, the 1st century AD rhetorician, he says that sublime is the echo of a great soul. And then he continues saying that Homer entered into the sublime actions of his heroes and shares the full inspiration of the combat. Now that is inspiration, intention. So it is a romantic view, and Sainsbury, George Sainsbury, people like George Sainsbury, they support it. So he is also someone who has committed this, if you call it fallacy, intentional fallacy. So right from Longinus, this is there in the history of literature, the history of criticism. Then second person he takes his second author. First is Longinus, and second is Goethe. And according to Goethe, how to assess a work of art? 3 questions you have to ask. What did the author set out to do? Was it reasonable? How far has he succeeded? Question number 1 itself is intentional. What did the author set out to do? So Goethe is also, in a way, inverted commas, guilty of this. Inverted comma, guilty. Understand? And there is a Benedetto Croce. He is the crowning philosophic expression of Romanticism. There is crowning philosophic expression of Romanticism. So that is the third one. Benedetto Croce. Understand? Now, in between, he says, taking the example of Madonna. So Wimsatt asks, Madonna is there in Santa Maria Novella, the church at Cimabue, that's the place. Cimabue, that is Latin. Santa means Saint Maria, Novella, that is the name of the church. And he says, if you go and see, that was in 13th century. If you go and stand in front of Madonna and ask, imagination, you ask her. So those spectators who saw you in 13th century, the Florentines who saw you in 14th century, do the present spectators have the same feelings when they see you now? That means there is change in the intention. Isn't it? The intention is an ephemeral thing. Otherwise, 13th century spectators, the feelings of the emotions of 13th century spectators and the present spectators should be the same. It is not the same. That means to depend on intention is absolutely, not absolutely, we don't make such statements. It is not the right approach. Okay. And then he says, if you take a historical interpretation of the work, suppose you ask, same thing here, suppose you ask Shakespeare, I say you quote Shakespeare and ask, so what was your intention of writing Hamlet? And what about now? What is the intention? What do you feel, or what we in the 20th century feel or have the emotion that come to our mind, or the emotion that we feel when you read or when you see Hamlet stage. What is the difference? Or you ask Corneille about it. Or simply just go to ask Thomas Hardy about his novel. What was the intention then, and does the intention stand the test of time even now? We will see that this will be different. So you cannot depend upon intention. In Madonna's case, you cannot depend upon intention. In historical interpretation of great works of art, for example, the sonnets of Shakespeare itself, we can take. So what happens is that the analysis of meaning or the spirit, for example, you write. What you will do is, you will be producing a biography, an essay on biography, essay on sociology, or essay on politics. Because the intention of the author at that time, for one thing we do not know that. Secondly, even if he is alive and you ask him, intention at that time, intention now, is it same? Most probably 99.9% the case will be, he will say no, intention, or because this audience is not that audience. So intention has no, you cannot depend upon intention for the public art of evaluating poems. Criticism is the public art of evaluating poems. This is a key point. Public art of evaluating poems. This is what is called criticism. Now in public, say Madonna, we said, example Madonna, example Shakespeare's plays, Shakespeare's then and now, that's the point. Then and now. Understand? Again, another example he takes, that you take a passage from a poet. So it can be dithyrambic, or it can be tragic, it can be lyric, and take it to a poet who wrote it. And tell him to explain this. He will say, I don't know much about this now. Because it was at that time, now a third party, a third man may be able to tell you what is the meaning of that. Most probably, 99, again we can say, that is the case. Because I told you the other day, suppose I am a poet, I write a poem. And after 2 or 3 months you come to me, sir, can you remember it? I will say, I don't know, because I have forgotten, because that was intention at that time. So intention is not a permanent thing. That's the point that you have to see. Because we are arguing against intention. We call it intentional fallacy. We call it intentional inference. Understand? We means, for the time being, I am also supporting, because I am presenting this, see, I am the mouthpiece, his master's voice. I am the mouthpiece, so we can say Wimsatt and Beardsley, in this case, for at this moment. Understand? And then we can see Socrates himself. Socrates said, that is the fourth point we can say, right? Socrates said that what we remember is what comes out of the inspiration of the poet. What we remember affectionately today are the inspirations of the poets. So Socrates was not supporting poets, isn't it? But at the same time he says it is. So he, a great philosopher like Socrates, he said the work of art is produced by way of inspiration. Inspiration means intentional fallacy. Intention. So we are now speaking against that. And then he says, then there is a belief. Say the romantics believe like this now. Wordsworth said, recollected in tranquility. Emotion recollected in tranquility. See? And they also say, you should come like leaves to a tree. Automatically. Or it's a lava of imagination. Again, that is dependence on intention. I said, you can say like this, but that will not help you do. That will only take you to the biography of the world, or the social situation, or the cultural situation, or cultural life of those days, way of life of the poet and the way of the life of the poets, also you can say, poets and the society. We won't be able to do this public art of evaluating poems. That is criticism. You cannot do. And then further he says, you take Edward, he gives three names. He says Edward Young, Carlyle and Walter Pater. Edward Young, then Carlyle, Thomas Carlyle, and Walter Pater. They also support this intention. So for example, Carlyle says, see what happens is you should be first moved. See? If you want to create something worthwhile or something that will move others, first you should be moved. That means what? You should have that emotion. And then you should be true to yourself. Yes, that is your inspiration. A work of art proceeds from the inspiration or intention of the author. That is what Carlyle says. And then Edward Young says, you should be true to yourself. Only if you are true to yourself, you can produce great work of art. What is true to yourself means your intention or your inspiration or your imagination. So Carlyle says the same. And then Walter Pater says truth, for example. What is truth? Truth is only the beauty. What is beauty? Beauty is the fineness of a truth. Or beauty is the fine expression of truth. That is, fine expression of truth means, again, it is romantic. Understand? So all these three, that is Carlyle, Edward Young, and Walter Pater, they all say that inspiration or the intention is the basis of great works of art. And then Houseman, young poet, now what his example, or he narrates an incident in his life. One day he had a lunch with his friend, and then he drank a pint of beer and he went for a walk. It was his habit to go for 3 or 4 hours of walk in the afternoons. So he was just looking here and there, not having any idea, nothing, his mind was empty, and suddenly he says, 1 or 2 lines came to his mind, and then a whole stanza, and thus 2 or 3 stanzas. So again, even a Houseman, he says that the energy or the life behind the work of art or a poem is inspiration. So according to Wimsatt and Beardsley, all these people, right from Longinus, then Goethe, then you have got Benedetto Croce, and you have got those people who are trying to interpret is on the basis of historical condition, that is historical interpretation. And then you saw how poets themselves, they are unable to remember their intention, and Socrates, fine. And then you have got Edward Young, Carlyle and Walter Pater, and finally we saw Houseman. All these writers, and some of them critics also, what happened to them is that they depend upon intention. And this, Wimsatt and Beardsley says, it is not possible. You cannot depend upon intention and then do this public art of evaluating poems. You can do something else. Historical criticism will take you to sociology or politics or culture. Cultural materialism we have already seen by Sir Dollimore and Seinfeld. Okay. And then another example he says, see Coleridge and Mathew, they were great poets. But what happened is that when they started writing criticism, means evaluating works of art, something happened to them. What is that? Their inspiration or their poetic faculty dried up, slowly disappeared. They became critics. So what that means is poetic faculty and critical faculty will not go together. Because poetic faculty is, according to these authors and critics, if it is based on intention, And Coleridge himself says, no, Kubla Khan, he says the effect of an anodyne. And also he has said that no, psychological curiosity. Psychological curiosity is the basis of writing poems, Coleridge himself has said. But what happened, when he became a critic, the psychological curiosity simply disappeared. So that means criticism and creative work, they will not coexist in one person. See, and that is what you infer from this is, that is, if you are basing your effort or your creative effort on the basis of intention, it will slowly dry up. Because criticism is a totally different field. As you said, writing poetry is not evaluating poetry. Because writing poetry, you can depend upon intention, inspiration. It is lava of imagination, or it comes as leaves to a tree, or you can say Homer enters into, or the great echo. The sublimity is the echo of the great soul, or we can say, as Goethe says, what did the poet set out to do, or we can say about how different will be the intention of the 13th century. The 13th century, what was the intention when Madonna that piece of art was created, or Renaissance period, what was the intention of Shakespeare and so on. Says these things you cannot depend upon the public art of evaluating poetry, and that is why people who were once poets, when they started writing criticism, when they started slowly entering into the field of criticism, they have stopped writing poems. Because both are different. Understand? So, he says that the intention, you cannot depend upon intention, inspiration, emotion, recollected infallibility, echo of great soul, historical interpretation, and then being true to yourself, remembering affectionate and affectionate things, most affectionately and inspirational. As Socrates says, these things won't help you in the case of the public art of evaluating poems. So, it is the romantic, the intentional fallacy is essentially a romantic one. So this romantic one means it is the romantic poets or the romantic critics. They gave huge, you can say, importance to intention that will not work. That's what Wimsatt and Beardsley. That will not help you in the art of in the public art of evaluating poems. Understand? So our third lecture, the main point is that intentional fallacy is a romantic one, and there are people who were supporting that. Well, there were a number of them, right from Socrates, Longinus to A. Houseman. But Wimsatt and Beardsley, according to them, intention of the poet will not take you anywhere, except that it will help you to write an essay on biography or social. Understand? And once a poet start criticizing, or once a poet, that evolutionary, you can say, when the poet, he tries to become a critic, the poetic talent in him, the poetic ability or the talent in him will dry up, no doubt. Because both are different, that's the point. Both are different, that's the point. So the judgment of poetry is different from after producing it. This is the point. That's why when Coleridge and Arnold became critics, they stopped writing poems. That's what Wimsatt and Beardsley. Because what is the reason? Once again, judgment of poems is different from the art of producing it. You got the point. So I hope you have been following what I was trying to explain. This intentional fallacy as stated by these two critics, Wimsatt and Beardsley. Hope that you have been following, enjoying, and some useful to you. So for the time being, we will say goodbye. We will see again with another poem in the same essay in the near future. Till then, bye. Have a nice time. Enjoy your life.